Allgäuer Büble Bier.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Fucking hell. What the fuck? Allgäuer Büble Bier. Oh well, that's what they've called it. Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. Got one here from Germany. Surprise, fucking prize. This is the Allgäuer Büble Bier Edelbräu. I think that's how it's pronounced. Edelbräu. I've sort of worked out what Edel means in German. The literal translation is noble. So this is a noble beer or brew, as the name suggests. And this comes from a region called Marktoberdorfer. I think that's how it's pronounced. It could be fucking completely wrong. But that's what he looks like. It's Marktoberdorfer, which is in Bavaria, in a region called Swabia. Yeah. It's all fucking Dutch to me. But this is one that I've had before, years ago. My mate Norby brought it over for me years ago. I think that was when I was living in London. And he loves this stuff. I see quite a few times. He sends me some photos over and he's drinking this stuff. He does rate this beer. Now, I can't remember what this tasted like. I think the last time I had this may have been 2014 or 15, possibly. Can't remember. But it's a beer of some description. I think it's a lager, actually, if memory serves me correctly. Yeah, it's a Helles beer. It's got it on the back. And, blimey, fucking hell, 5.5%. Cool. And this brewery have been going since roughly 1911. And they are an amalgamation of 3 other brewers who have been amalgamated and then eventually formed into the Allgäuer Bräuhaus. And then 3 breweries were the Kempten Brewery, the Berglicher Brewery, and the Grünbaum Brewery, which Grünbaum I think translates to green tree. Could be wrong, but they're an amalgamation of all them 3 old German breweries, which eventually became Allgäuer. And as I say, they're from a place called Marktoberdorfer, which I think that's how it's pronounced. Probably not, but interesting fact about that region, or that little town, is they have a memorial to a fella who was killed by the Nazis for trying to surrender the town to the Americans without a fight. Which, I don't know how that worked out for Marktoberdorfer, but it probably would have saved a lot of buildings and a lot of lives as well. So, quite rightly that fella's honoured every year in that way. And if you know a little bit about your German history, and I was talking to a German fella the other day, actually, at a funeral of all places, and he was saying that the American influence in Bavaria is quite big. Whereas in northern Germany, where the British were based, the British influence is quite big. And you can sort of see that, I think, in some of the beers. Now, Americans, obviously, they love their lager. And I'm not saying for 1 minute that the Germans brewed beer to suit the occupying forces after the war. But you can see why the beers became popular. And Hofbrau in America is very popular. And the reason it's very popular is because a lot of American soldiers, when they were stationed there, they brought back a lot of the Hofbrau memorabilia, as in tankards and stuff like that. And I think Hofbrau is quite widely available in the United States. I do get comments and messages from American subscribers who are always commenting on the Hofbrau beer that I review, saying that they've drunk it in America and it's widely available. I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think it's brewed over there. I think it's still brewed in Germany. I don't think they've given out a franchise that can brew it over there, because obviously it would taste completely different, in my opinion. Anyway, let's get back on topic about this beer. This is, as far as I can tell, it's just a Helles. So yeah, a Bavarian Helles. What is not to like about that? You know me, I do like me Bavarian beer, and this is an Edelbräu. Now, I don't know whether you've seen my video of the Holsten Edel I was having real problems trying to work out what Edel meant in German. Even my German mate couldn't really translate it to English. But I did a bit of research online and Google Translate. Literally, the literal translation is noble, and I'm assuming they've called it that or the reason they've called it Edelbräu is because it contains noble hops. Now, of course, you know what the noble hops are. They are Saaz hops, often found in, well, mostly found in Czech Pilsners. That's what gives Czech Pilsners their character, that bitterness, that hop bitterness that you get. That's 9 times out of 10, it's a Saaz hops or a variation of a Saaz hop that's used in Czech beers, Czech Pilsners, I should say. Great hop, instantly recognisable, quite bitter, very nice peppery bitterness on them. You've got Tettnanger hops, which again is a noble hop. You do see them quite a lot in German light coloured beers. Tettnanger and variations on Tettnanger. Then you get Spalt hop, which the Spalter Brewery use, well, not exclusively, but they use it in their beers, and it's quite a nice hop. Again, noble hop flavours. Characteristic is the herbal notes, the grassy herbal notes that you get in a noble hop. That's what gives German beer its character. And last but certainly not least is the Hallertauer. Now, Hallertauer is a region in Germany. It's the biggest hop growing region in the world. I think there may be American hop growers that are bigger, but I don't think there is. Certainly in Europe, the Hallertauer region is huge, and they do a lot of research there. There's a documentary online if you want to watch it about the Hallertauer region. If you're a beer geek like me, it's absolutely fascinating. I think it's got its own university as well, where they're constantly trying to improve the hops. When I say improve them, I mean give them resistance to mould and insects and stuff like that. But they do it all naturally. I mean, I will say that about the German brewers. They are very green, they're very eco-conscious, which is, I think, is a great thing. And I think a lot of other brewers could or should follow in their footsteps doing that, because let's just not, whether you agree with global warming or not, I don't give a fuck. Let's just not be wasteful bastards and fucking use stuff that can be reused again. You've got all the conspiracy theorists online going, oh, fucking global warming, it doesn't exist. Whether it does or whether it doesn't, does it not make sense to just reuse stuff? It's cheaper. Whether it saves the planet, who knows? Who cares? If it's, you know, if it just means you're not creating waste, surely that's got to be a good thing. Anyway, enough of the political bullshit. Let's get on to the beer. .500ml bottle, 5.5%, and it's a Helles according to this. Usual caper with the ingredients: water, malted barley, hop extract. Interesting. They do list it as hop extract, and there's hops in there as well, according to them. Again, no mention of the yeast, and that's it really. There's the label. Büble. I don't know what that means. Is it something to do with baby in German? Büble. I think that means baby in German. I don't know. It's all fucking gobbledygook to me. Didn't we fight a war so we will never speak that crap? No offence to any German viewers, you know me. Let's get it open and let's see what's going on. Well, that was disappointing. No plop. Maybe it was because I had a go at the Germans. Now, I've cleaned this glass out and I'm hoping, because I've just tried a Keller beer in here and it was fucking filthy. This don't look too bad actually. There it is in the glass. Well, there's a little bit of nonsense clinging onto the side. That's actually a little bit dark for a Helles. That's probably one of the darker. Helleses are not normally lighter than that. That's like got a bit of an amber hue going on to it. God, you can smell that from here. Oh, that really does smell of the noble hops, the herbal, grassy, noble hops. Don't know, it doesn't give a brew sheet on the website, unfortunately. But there it is. What's on the nose? Not a great deal, unfortunately. It's the aromas aren't big. They were when it first came out of the bottle, but in the glass, not getting much here at all. Oh well, let's see what it tastes like. Prost, as they say in Germany. Oh, that's quite nice. Subtle Hallertau bitterness on that. I think that's what it is anyway. Hallertau hops. Not sure, but it's almost got like that caramel-esque type maltiness that you get in the St. Georgenbräu beer. This is nice. Oh yeah. Quite strong malt character on there. The hops are subtle on this, but they're there. You do get them. But this really is all about the malt. And it's quite a toasted, almost caramel type malt. And again, I'm going to say that this is not as strong and not as flavourful as or flavoursome, I should say, as the St. Georgenbräu, but it does remind me of that type of beer. That's quite nice, I have to say. Oh yeah. Oh, it's good. That malt finish on the end, it's toasted. As I say, that's what it's reminding me of. Sort of white bread, toasted white bread. But it's really nice, very refreshing, nice mouthfeel. I mean, the carbonation it looks minimal there, but you can feel the carbonation, which is quite nice on there. It's not too aggressive. Yeah, I quite like that. That's a good one. There's a little touch of lemon citrus that I'm getting through there now, and that just complements all them other flavours. This is quite drinkable, actually, I have to say. I love that finish. It's really nice. It's what's making me want to keep drinking it. Now I've had sort of, if you really want a very crude comparison, the Warsteiner has this type of flavour as well, but it's not as subtle and it's not as natural tasting as this stuff. It's got that toasted type of bread type finish on it, both on the palate and the finish as well. I really like it. That's a good one. For me, not the best in the world. I don't think it compares to the Augustiner, but it's still good. I quite like it. So what is the verdict on the Allgäuer Büble Bier Edelbräu? Well, I think Edel definitely does translate to noble, and I'm hoping that the noble that they're talking about, or what it's translating to, refers to the hops, because there's definitely a little bit of what I think are Hallertau hops on this. It doesn't mention it on the bottle, and I haven't looked at the website, so it's all in German, and I'm not even going to attempt to try and read that. I'll probably get it arseways, but it's nice. Very German. You can tell that that's a German beer straight away. Lovely roasted bready type finish on it, also on the palate, but with a little bit of the Hallertau hop character on there too. And it's nice. I was a little bit worried that it didn't have much aroma, but you do get a slight aroma now. Maybe the head was sort of blocking them aromas coming through, but I do get a little bit of that roasted character on there now, which is really nice. And you get that in bundles on the St. Georgenbräu, and I know I'm going to keep comparing it to that because that was in my opinion, one of the best lagers in the world. Certainly the ones that I've tasted. It's up there with the Augustiner, in my opinion. I did a comparison video, not sure whether you've seen it. I gave it to the best one, I gave it to Augustiner on that day, but on another day, it could quite easily have been the St. Georgen Bräu. In my opinion, they are on a par with each other. This, whereas it's not a bad beer, I wouldn't say it's a poor imitation, but it certainly falls into that St. Georgen Bräu, toasted, slightly stronger caramel flavoured, almost caramel flavoured I should say, Helles, compared to the Augustiner, which is just all about the hops and the lemon citrus on there, and it's supremely drinkable. But this is nice. I don't think it's up there with them, but it's good. It's a good, solid German Helles. No complaints about this whatsoever. I think a fair mark for this would be, I would say 8 out of 10. And a solid 8 out of 10. It's doing everything nice. Certainly no nasties in there. It just doesn't quite come up to the supreme 10 out of 10 mark that I give to certain German beers, or certainly some Bavarian beers as well. But it's still good. I mean, don't get me wrong. I imagine this tastes lovely on tap. But it's a good one. And if you see it, and I have seen this on quite a few of the UK online retailers and all that, it's worth checking out. But of course, if Augustiner and the St. Georgen Bräu Helles are available, I would say go for them all day long. But this ain't a bad substitute. So fill your boots. And remember, beer is working class champagne.